Dear traveller and welcome. I don't need another camera. I don't need another camera. Do I need another camera? Do I? No, I don't. I don't need another camera. I've got all the cameras I need. I definitely don't need another rangefinder. I definitely don't need another 50mm rangefinder f2. I don't need that. So what should I get next? Should I buy the Mamiya again? I love the Mamiya. Oh man. Wait a second. What's this? Are you joking me? Are you serious right now? Oh my word, I have not seen a Leica this cheap ever. Nah man, it's gotta be fake. It's gotta be a scam. I'll just text the guy. Just text him. Let's see if he's replied. Oh my goodness. Dude, this is popping off. Oh my goodness. I just got a notification. People are already putting offers. I think I just gotta get this, man. If I don't get this now, then it's never. Like, when's this opportunity gonna come back again, man? I just gotta do it, dude. I'm just gonna do it. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it, dude. Oh my goodness, I just did it. I just bought another camera. Oh my goodness, I just bought another camera. Oh my goodness, guys. Looks like I'm gonna be a Leica owner now. It looks... That's a pretty good sentence to be able to say. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh, come with me on this journey through time and space. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's do this. Why wouldn't I want another rangefinder 50mm Leica? Let's try Leica, because you know what they say, once you go Leica, you don't go back. This was totally a spare of the moment thing, but let me back up by saying this. I've been doing a ton of research, and you know I love the Russian cameras, the Soviet cameras, whatever you want to call them. I love them, and the lenses are gorgeous. I love the Jupiter lenses. I absolutely love them. I don't need better than that. I already got what I need. I don't need another camera, but I just keep thinking, why is there more expensive? If Zorky is so good, because I absolutely love it, if it's so good, then why do everyone keep just going on and on about Leica and about, you know, friggin' Voigtlander and blah blah blah, and all these crazy lenses and Zeiss lenses and why do they keep talking about this stuff? And they're just like, oh, there's nothing about Leica. You know what the classic sentence is? The classic sentence is people who own Leicas. As soon as they own a Leica, they'll be like, it doesn't matter what camera you shoot. The camera doesn't matter. It's like, bro, you got a Leica. Do you know what I mean? Like, I so badly just want to go down this rabbit hole, because every Leica owner tells you that, you know, it's you know, why do you shoot Leica? Look at all the Paulie B videos. Why do you shoot Leica? I don't know. I just do. It felt right. From as soon as I picked it up, it's like, I'll never go back. It's the right camera for me. Why do you shoot Leica? And like, none of them have actual reasons. None of them's like, oh, well, I really appreciate this ergonomic about it. It's actually this particular lens that only fits on that camera. I just, you know, I had to have that, and I found that this was the best. No, it's just I had to have a Leica. It's the best of the best. And for me, it feels like the right camera. And that always annoyed me, because I'm like, well, what is it? Like, you can't put into words why it's so special to you, this camera that you love. I find it so hard, and I'm like, well, I love Zorkies. I love Zorky, and I'll tell you a little story, quick little story. I was in Melbourne CBD, and I bumped into a bit of a photographer guy who's a bit of a known street photographer who's got some really nice cameras. And he showed me his rangefinder Leicas, and I'm like, oh man, I love rangefinders. I've got a Zorky, and as soon as the word Zorky left my mouth, you could just see him just like rolling his eyes, like, oh, okay, I've got a Zorky. That's literally what he said. He says, it's a Zorky, and I'm like, dude, really? Like, remember, the camera doesn't matter, and shouldn't you be inspired? But I'm like, maybe I just haven't seen that side of the lens. I haven't experienced it. And I'm just here going, oh, Zorky's amazing, bro. And then I'll try the Leica and I'll be like, dude, what the hell was I talking about? What drugs was I smoking? That's a toy. Now I got the real deal. I got the real deal Leica. I'm a Leica owner. Guys, things are going to change around here. Things are going to change around here. No more buying the cheapest box wine. No more. No more will I buy cheap cheeses anymore. Things are changing. From today forward, I'm a Leica owner, okay? And I expect the best. And I will only accept the best. So come with me on this journey. Let's see, are Leicas worth it? Is this camera a good purchase? Now, I got it for a song, and I couldn't have let it go. Honestly, this thing was popping off, and I had to like make a decision. Either get it and go down this rabbit hole, like the whole Morpheo thing, go down this rabbit hole, or just let it go. And I'm like, dude, I got to go down this rabbit hole. I got to go down this rabbit hole. So if you've never owned a Leica and you've been curious as hell, please check this video out, because I'm going to pit it against all my other favorite cameras. Is this going to be my new favorite camera? Is this going to be the coolest camera in the world? Love it, love it, love it. Or am I going to just sell it? Right now, my gut feeling is I'm going to use it for like 3 or 4 rolls of film, and I'm going to sell it. Straight out, because I'll easily make my money back, if not maybe a little bit more, and I don't need it. I don't need another rangefinder. But from all the videos I've seen, Leica is a gateway drug, and once you have one, you just want more and more because they're just so good. And deep down, I hope it's amazing. My expectation is so high right now, and I hope it lives up to it. Because if it does, well then I've got my dream camera. I've just secured my dream camera. Let's go on this journey. All right, I'll keep you updated when this package comes in. This is pre-owning a Leica. This is my pre-owning thoughts before the camera even gets here. These are just my ramblings. What, pray tell, is what Leica camera are we looking at? We are looking at the M1. The M1 with some lens, I don't know, Summicron 5cm f2, right? That's what we're looking at. Now M1, to anyone who doesn't know, I'll educate you, okay? Anyone who does know, I can see you're not impressed, all right? I can see you're not impressed, but hold with me. Hold up, okay? All right, let me explain it to you. M1 sounds like it was the first M version that ever was released. Turns out, no, it's not. M3 was actually the first M camera released. It went M3, then it went M2, then it went M1, then who knows what, probably M4, and then just went all crazy, right? So M1 is actually like the third iteration. Now, the M1 was a very bizarre camera because it has no rangefinder in it. It has no rangefinder. So it's a rangefinder camera, but in the viewfinder, it's just a viewfinder. There is no rangefinder patch. There is no focusing assist on this camera, because apparently it was used for medical industry or something different. It was, made for people who don't care for using rangefinders. They just want whatever. Some people sort of see it as a street photography thing, because apparently the true hardcore street photographers don't range find. They don't use a focusing patch. It's too fast. All you do is chuck on a 28mm, set it to f8, get the, distance from, 1 meter to 4 meters or whatever, and just run and gun. And you're just composing and you're not focusing, because
shot I've ever seen one.
You zone focus, right? You zone focus all your shots? All of them, 99%?
Yeah, I mean, occasionally if it's a slow scene or somebody's sleeping, or almost all of them.
The hit rate is really good. I feel like you've like mastered it.
I mean, the last 6. I mean, when I came out last month, 16, but now it's like I'm getting more comfortable now. Zoning at 5.6 and just getting that separation between my background and my subject, and it's like I'm really enjoying it. a lot.
And this is why I bought this camera. And this is why I want to go down this rabbit hole. Listen to me now. Focusing sucks. I hate focusing. Think about it for a second. Now that I've said it, you know, right? Focusing sucks. I hate focusing. Because either it's an autofocus and you're waiting for the stupid thing to focus and you're like, come on, man, just see what I see. Just freaking do it, bro. Or it's a rangefinder or SLR and you're just lining up these two faded, crappy little images and you're like, oh, God, I hate focusing. You're literally looking through this tiny old, 7-year-old piece of glass and you're trying to match up two little images and trying to get them to match. Oh, no, I've gone too far. I've got to go. Do you know what I mean? And then the other thing is I'm getting older. My eyesight's going to get worse, right? Trying to find a rangefinder patch in a camera is going to be next to impossible. That's going to eventually be too difficult for me. And I'm like, well, let's look at other options. I don't like focusing. Now, I've got zone focus cameras, whether you call them zone focus or whatever you want to call them. But basically, cameras that you measure the focus by distance. And I can hear some of those people go, well, that's technically focusing. Shut up. All right, just let me speak. Let the boys speak. Stop interrupting me. Yes, I know it's still focusing, but the point is, I'm not trying to look through a split image and trying to correct a split image. Ugh. Zone focusing, bro. I love it. I love it. I've got the Nikonos. Fantastic. The way that thing zone focuses with a 35mm lens, mate, I just set it from like 1 meter to 2 meters, and I've done run and gun with that camera. I've got street photos of just walking through the city, and I love it because it takes away a whole element. I'm not worrying. All I'm worrying about is composing. So now what that does is it puts into your brain, well, if all you're worrying about is composing and the lens is kind of set and the film's set and your shutter speeds are kind of set, then basically this camera is a Holga. This camera is a Holga. It's a set focal distance, set shutter speed. You just look through the window and take the photo. And I honestly, they're some of my favorite cameras. I think those Holga plastic cameras are my favorite because I don't have to think about anything. And somehow the pictures still turn out good and I love the images. I don't think about anything. I don't have to focus. I don't have to friggin' aperture. I don't have to worry about shutter speeds. And the images still turn out. That's the crazy thing. That's the thing that blows my mind. I still get good images. Or at least for me, for what I need, I still get good images. So it's all I'm doing is taking that same recipe and knocking it up like 50 notches. And I'm going, well, Summicron, baby. Summicron. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm nervous because the wider the angle lens, the easier it is to do this kind of zone focusing. Once you go to a 50mm, I've heard it's like impossible. But you know what? It's the challenge. I love the challenge. I'll do it. I've got no problems. These people are scared. These people are... You see these people talk about like, oh, it's really hard to zone focus with a 50mm. But these people, like, don't even understand what a meter is or 3 feet there, boy. We're talking in feet now there, boy. They don't even know what it is. If you say how long's a meter, they'll be like, I don't know. How long's 3 feet? I'm not good with measurements, bro. Grow up. Grow up. You're not good with measurements. Grow up. Right? Everyone needs to know how far a meter is. And that's why I love zone focusing. I can judge a meter. I can judge 1.5 meters. I can judge 2 meters. So if I'm doing it, then why am I focusing? I kind of feel like focusing is a bit of a sucker's way of doing it. So here's me in the future, prior to getting the camera. And I'm just like, yeah, this is going to be easy. This is going to be easy. I'm going to get banger shots. This is going to be my favorite camera. I'm excited. Ain't she a beauty? Isn't she just stunning? Look at this little old lady. Hey? And look, if you've never held one, they're solid as a brick and machined to absolute perfection. That's the first thing that jumped out at me. Just the machining of it. How just gorgeous it is. It's like a very, very high quality watch. Think of the highest quality watch that you've ever held or ever had the blessing to own or use or whatever. And it's like that. It's just every little bezel, every little dial, everything has been meticulously made. You know, I'm guessing it was handmade to some degree or hand assembled. And it's just phenomenal. It weighs a ton and every single detail is highly crafted. If I cannot express that enough, every detail is highly crafted. There's not one screw or fixing or button or thing on it that isn't extremely well made. And just, you can tell love and time and thought has gone into every single design. It's a thing of absolute beauty, and it's heavy. It's a heavy, solid, reliable, like it just feels so good in the hand. And it puts everything else to shame. Any other camera I've used just feels like an absolute toy in comparison to this. And that's the best way I could say it. Imagine if you had a bunch of old crappy little Casio watches or Timex, I don't know, some just think, and I know Casio make good watches, alright? I'm not saying they don't. But just think of some cheap watch brand, a cheap $20 watch. Compare that to a gorgeous, Omega or Tag Heuer or something like that, where it's just built so wonderfully, so pretty, or Rolex, something really crafted, and that's what you're comparing when you compare a Zorki or, whatever camera you've been using compared to a Leica. It transcends being a camera. It is no longer just something that you use to take photos with. It is now a work of art. It's a work of design genius. It's solid, it's robust, but everything's smooth. And one of the most amazing experiences is the advanced lever, right? The advanced lever on this thing. When you advance to the next frame, the way that it feels, the way that it advances, it's this gorgeous, soft. It's like it's soft, but it goes through all these different stages. It starts off like this softness, and then it like drops into gear like you would with like an old manual sports car from the 50s. You can just feel it like thunk into gear, and then you can feel it advancing the film and advancing the shutter. And then just as it gets to the end, it gets more difficult, and then it finally just clicks at the end. This gorgeous click, and the pressure releases. And you can just let it go. Like, it sounds so basic and so silly, but it feels amazing. It is like an ASMR, like sensory toy or something. It just feels unbelievable. The viewfinder's crystal clear and bright. It's amazing. The lens, the way it extends and locks into place. It is an absolute just beauty to use, right? Beauty to use, and it feels like such a gorgeous camera. Okay, now like I said, I got mine cheap, and for that cheap price you've got to give up a few things. Now it's an older camera, okay, it doesn't have a viewfinder, yes, the lens was kind of thrown into the deal, and the lens isn't in the best condition, I'll be honest. As you're probably seeing from the images, the lens is in pretty rough condition. However, it was kind of thrown in as a body cap. Like, it was thrown in. And, for the price I paid for it, I'm really just appreciative that I got a nice lens to play around with. And here's the funny thing. Lenses can take a hell of a lot of abuse before it starts to affect the image quality to a point where you can't, where it's really poor image quality, and I think I'm going to get okay images out of this. And at the end of the day, it's a body cap. So if it's a rubbish lens and I've got to just sell it on for parts or whatever, mate, I'm still winning, right? I'm still ahead of the game. But I'm still excited. Let's see what we can push out of this bad boy. All right. But yeah, initial thoughts. Gorgeous camera, work of art. Starting to understand, starting to turn to that dark side and understand what the hype is all about. Because it's not a camera. If you're asking why a Leica camera is so much more superior than other cameras, the answer is in the question, in the fact that it is no longer a camera. It's transcended being a camera, and the fact that you're comparing it to other cameras is just incorrect. So it is not a camera. This is a work of art. It's a work of design genius. It's a work of craftsmanship. And then under all those layers, yes, it's a camera. Yes, it's a camera. Under all those layers. And probably likened to a really good suit. If you've got a gorgeous tailored suit, now you could get any old suit, and you could just buy something off the rack, and you put it on, you feel $1 million, right? But if you get a gorgeous tailored suit, right, what's that going to do to your psyche when you put that suit on? That's what this camera does. When you have this camera in your hand, it changes your psyche. You feel like you're the boss. You feel like you're the man, and you feel like I'm a professional. And I know to anyone who is a professional, right? Anyone, and I'm thinking of Alex. And if you know the Alex that I'm talking of, if you're a guy like him, he's probably rolling his eyes and going, "What does that even mean? I feel like a professional, mate." That's the dumbest thing ever, and it is a dumb thing to say. But for anyone who's not a professional, anyone who's an amateur, or anyone who just loves photography, then they understand what I'm saying, right? You're just an amateur. You're just passionate about photography. To have a camera that makes you feel professional, makes you feel like you're the stuff, right? It's a beautiful experience, and that's what this camera does for me, and I feel like it does it for everyone who has one, okay? And does that make your images better? No, but think of this, right? Let's go back to the suit analogy. Look at a real estate agent. You get like a good real estate agent, and they've got a Ferrari, and they're driving up to a place in a Ferrari to sell a house, and you're thinking, mate, that's overkill. And then he steps out of the Ferrari and he's got this gorgeous suit on. You're like, oh, I bet you all the money he's made on commission from selling houses pays for his Ferrari. Yeah. And you think, yeah, but the guy's winning. Don't you want someone who's winning to sell your house, or to sell you a house? Like, don't you want someone who's winning? You don't want him to rock up in a Corolla wearing, flaming slacks and, last night's spaghetti still on his t-shirt. You don't want that guy, right? You want the dude jumping out of a Ferrari who's going to sell you something, or going to sell your house for you. That's the guy you want to hire to sell your house. Oh, he's going to charge a little bit extra. Yeah, but look at him do it with style and pizzazz. Look at this guy freaking wow you, right? So it's the same as this camera. You get it in your hands, it wows you. You feel like you're the stuff, mate. And you go walking around and tell people you got a Leica. Mate, I've had some of the most exciting conversations with people, and I know how sad that is. I know that's like, oh, it shouldn't be what photography's about. Mate, I've had some of the most fun conversations chatting to people about Leicas. Other people who own them, and just getting excited, ringing them up and saying, mate, guess what? Finally pulled the pin, mate. I got myself a Leica. And then just, oh, mate, awesome. What'd you get? Oh, that's great. We'll have to go out shooting. That sounds like fun, mate. Oh, tell me all about it. What kind of this? What kind of that? Great. What are you thinking? It's the greatest conversation ever. It's the most beautiful. It's like you're on the winner's table, and you just high-fiving everyone, and they're just high-fiving you. And the thing with Leica owners is that they love to have their purchases kind of validated. So by you buying one, it kind of validates their purchase, and they're like, yeah, it is worth it, isn't it? This is the greatest camera on the planet. And you kind of go back and forth trying to validating each other, and it's fantastic. And honestly, it's nice to be on the winner's table. It's nice to not be the guy with the Zorky having to just, prove the fact that a Jupiter lens can take good images. It's nice to be on the winner's table for once. Hey, I'm just going to say it. It's nice to be on the winner's table for once. And that experience is amazing, and I recommend it to anybody, and it's real cool, and it's kind of a boys club, right? I'm going to be honest, it's a bit of a boys club. If you own one, if you don't, you don't, and there's nothing that can compare. You can't say, oh, I don't have a Leica, but I do have a really nice Canon P. It's like, no, bro, it's not the same. Either you're in the club or you're not, right? Same as if you own a certain exotic car, if you own some vintage exotic car. If you own one, doesn't matter if it's rusted out, you're still a part of that club. You're still one of the guys, right? You still come to the car meets and you high five them, right? Even though it's probably rusted out bucket of bolts, you're still part of the club, right? So yeah, these are my initial thoughts. Guys, this is fantastic. It's everything I could dream of. I'm trying to hate this camera and I just can't. It's just perfection. And every time I hold it, like it's almost like my little support animal. And every time I just want to feel good, I just pull my Leica out and just cock that shutter and just fire that shutter. Because it just feels amazing. It's like therapy. Guys, go get yourself a Leica. I can't explain in any kind of rational terms why you should get one, but go get one. It's the greatest thing ever. Oh my goodness. I'm falling hard for this thing. It's the greatest. So anyway, this is just my initial thoughts. I hope I'm giving you guys like a bit of a good understanding of what it's like to have one in your hand if you've never held one, if you've never seen one in the wild. You know, if this is like you thinking, man, I wonder if I should get one. I wonder if it's like. Ask any questions down below if there's anything you want me to explain or go into more depth. This video is just an initial experience of going to get the camera until I finally receive the camera. Now I've got the camera, so I can give you a bit of a, I haven't shot any rolls in it yet. I'm just excited to do that, and I'm just giving you that sort of, initial thoughts. It's amazing. And you noticed in the video, I had my youngest daughter help me unpack it. Because in my mind, I'm like, hey, as I was unpacking it, I said to her, this might be yours one day. You might inherit this many years from now. This could be your camera. And it'll be the one you saw Dad shoot with all the time. It could be that family heirloom. So I wanted her to be a part of it. That unwrapping. That maybe she'll see this video 30, 40 years from now and be like, wow, that was the camera. Wow, no way. How sweet's that? Isn't that a sweet thing? That's sweet. That is sweet. So that's how much this camera means to me. That's how much I'm sort of putting into this video. Initial thoughts, amazing. This is the greatest thing ever. And I'm excited to go on this adventure. Let's start putting some rolls through it. First thing I'm going to do, right, okay, so I bought this on eBay. Just a quick runner up. I bought this on eBay, and whenever I buy an eBay camera, the first thing I do is I just smash rolls through it. I want to smash like 2 rolls of film through it within the first 24 hours, and I want to get them developed straight away, because if the camera's got an issue, if there's a fault, if there's a problem, that's why I buy on eBay. eBay's a risky place to buy, especially expensive stuff, yes, but eBay has a 30-day guarantee with all purchases. If it's not exactly as it's described, if I find a fault, if I find a problem, then at least I can use eBay and try and get a recovery of my money or something, right? So now I'm going to go through and smash some rolls through this camera, and let's see what we get out of it. Hopefully there's no light leaks or, something else I'm not noticing or wasn't told. And we'll go from there, But if this works, then, dude, let's go out and put some color film through it. And let's do that. So I will see you on the next side of that. Catch you guys. Oh, guys, why can't life just be easy? Why can't I just win? Just once, let me win. You saw how happy I was. Why did my bubble have to get burst? Why? 'Cause that's life. I suppose you can't have ups without crushing downs, and that sets you up for more victorious ups later in life. But this, my friends, is not a fun conversation. So, something I didn't realise, because I'm a novice, because I'm still learning this myself, is I made a crucial mistake. The video up to this point has been a complete lie. Now we're going to discover the bitter truth. Now, if you don't know about Leica, you have no clue what I'm talking about. You have no clue. Lucky I'm here. Mr. Slaps is here to educate you broke fools. Now, if you do own Leicas, you know the crucial mistake I've made. You know the horrendous pitfall that I've fallen into that you've all sidestepped, but no one warns me. No one warns you until you do it. Well, here I am giving you a straight out warning, guys. I made a fatal error. Earlier in this video, I told you that I got this camera cheap. Yes, cheap. Now, what Leica owners don't tell you is there is no such thing as a cheap Leica. There is only expensive Leicas and broken Leicas. That's all there is. Now, I did get this camera cheap. However, I just got mentioned from the lab that there's some issue with the shutter and that my images didn't turn out. This is obviously a huge deal breaker. I'm just about to open up the file now to see how bad it is, and I'm praying it's not that bad. I'm just hoping it's a couple of slow speeds and everything else is fine. Oh man, this hurts. Why does photography hurt like this? Because I tried to cut corners, that's why. Don't be the voice of reason in my moment of need. Oh man, please don't be too bad. Please don't be too bad. Alright, we're opening up the folder now. Okay, first shot, amazingly underexposed. Next shot, light leak. Next shot, shutter didn't open properly. Something's wrong with the shutter here, it's not opening properly. Something's not working. Oh dude, this is a nightmare. All the shots are like super underexposed. Oh dude, this is freaking... Oh! Okay. Second roll. Second roll heaps better. Huh. Second roll heaps better. What? Life, you cheeky devil, what have you done? Life, you cheeky devil. Are you... So the first roll's cactus, but the second roll seems okay? Life's insane. Alright, so this second roll, thank goodness I shot 2 rolls because I would have freaking topped myself. This second roll looks banging. Like, all things considered. So let's check this now. Just pull these bad boys up and I might have just cheated death. Well, travellers, at this stage our hero seems to be experiencing some difficulties. The way this ends up playing out is I reach out to one of my good mates that I met through Marketplace, Dan, who's an absolute legend. Thank you again, you're a voice of reason during an unsteady moment. I'm chatting to him because he's very knowledgeable with Leicas, and he gave me a little bit of insight and a little bit of clarity on what I should do next, whether or not to keep it, to get rid of it, what am I going to do? So, long story short, the shutter has an issue. Now, with a bit of research, I found out that some of these old Leicas have a common issue where it's actually the fastest shutter speeds that don't work. Which is odd, because for me I always thought it was the slower shutter speeds that play up, but no. The faster shutter speeds can mess up too. So on my copy, the issue that this one's got is that 1,000th of a second and 500th of a second are faulty. The rest of it seems to work, no problems. At first I was really annoyed with that, and I thought that's it, the camera's stuffed. But then with a little bit of reflection, I realized that there's no real reason to shoot at 1,000th of a second or 500ths of a second, because I only really shoot 100 to 200 speed film. So I'm not, unless I'm shooting 800 speed film and I want to shoot wide open, I don't really have the need to shoot at 1,000th of a second. So it's not a massive deal breaker. Obviously this is not ideal on any level. This is not what I wanted to happen. But anyway, back to my mate Dan, who helped me put me on the straight and narrow. He said, dude, why don't you go back to the eBay seller and ask for a partial refund? And I was chatting to him. I said, what do you think would be a good price? And he sort of went for the jugular and said, ask for this much, like ask for a pretty hefty amount back. And I thought, yeah, okay, what have I got to lose? So I did that. I went back to the guy, and it was within the 30-day warranty period anyway, so I could have just returned the whole thing. And I said, look, mate, here's the photos. It's got a shutter issue. I also called a local repair team. I called Leica, see what they would charge to repair it. Of course, they just want to do a quote and they want to send it off to Japan or Germany to get it serviced. So I'm assuming it's going to cost more than the camera's worth to service it. So that's never going to happen. So then I spoke to a local team of guys who were very confident and said they'll give a 12-month warranty and they can do it. Now, see, this is the advantage of having such a stripped back Leica, is that the CLA price on these cameras are a little bit lower. Not massively, but they're a little bit lower because there is no rangefinder, there is no light meter. It's purely just a shutter, and that's it. It's just a shutter, an advance lever that advances film. That's really all this camera does. So once I figured out what it would cost to fix, I spoke to Dan. Then I went back to the seller and said, look, mate, this is the issue. This is what it looks like it's going to cost to fix. This is what I'd want as a refund. And I expected the guy to say, no, just send the camera back and I'll give you a full refund. Because he's not making anything out of it. I've pretty much got this camera for next to nothing as it is, and now I'm getting it even cheaper because it has a shutter issue. And so, to my surprise, he accepted it. He said, yeah, no worries, I'll send you the refund now. And he sent it straight to me. So I got this camera even cheaper, and in my mind, it still works. It still shoots. I don't know if I will get it CLA'd, because at this stage, it's taking all the photos I need it to. I know that's a bit scuzzy to not get it serviced and to have a Leica that doesn't fully operate. But the way I see it is just, why spend needless money on something? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you retort to that, but it is broke. Yeah, but you know what? I don't really need to shoot over 250th of a second. I just don't need to shoot that fast. Would be handy. But at the same, I just don't want to invest more into this camera. I just want to keep it cheap. I want to keep it so I can get rid of it. If I invest more into it, then I've got to recoup more if I do want to get rid of it. Whereas now I can just sell it as it is and still make back what I spent plus some profit. So that's kind of where I'm at this stage. Maybe that'll change. Maybe I'll fall in love with it and I will get it serviced and I'll get this thing running like a beast and I'll get it engraved and I'll put my name and initials and everything over it. Maybe I will. But at this stage, let's put some more rolls through it. Let's start shooting some color. I think I've figured this thing out. As long as I stay under 500th of a second and I stick with 250 as my fastest, it's a fully working camera. And the lens is definitely got some contrast issues from the scratches on the front element, but you know what, it's an old lens anyway. You're gonna have pretty bad contrast, and it's something that's pretty easy to fix in post. Those images that I've showed you previously, they're just straight from the lab. They haven't been touched up by me at all. They're just straight out of the lab. So with a little bit of messing with them, I've been able to get them a lot sharper and get them where I need to. However, it is odd using old lenses of this ilk. I've never used lenses this old before, and even though they do have coatings, it's a very basic lens, and you've just got to be more, you've got to be more mindful of how you shoot. You can't just shoot into the sun, or into real bright subjects. I don't know. It's different. It's different. Wish the lens was sharper. I'm tossing up now whether switching it in for a 35mm lens, because see, now this is the secret little bonus to my camera, or to the M1 should I say, is that the M1 has a viewfinder that shows 50mm lines and 35mm lines. So I wouldn't mind chucking on a nice little 35mm lens on here, and that should, one, resolves the issue with the current lens that I've got that's a bit scratched up, and two, better depth of field when it comes to focusing. The wider you go, the more is in focus. So that's going to help with zone focusing, or scale focusing, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's where I'm at so far, guys. It has been a roller coaster, and I'm going to keep shooting with this camera. I'm going to keep the journey going. and lots more to come in the future, and I think there's a bunch more twist turns coming up in the future too. So hang in there, stay a part of it. Hit me up in the comments below, tell me what you think, tell me if you've had similar experiences with purchasing cameras offline, and what your thoughts are. Hit me up. Until next time, guys, I will be catching you on that there next one.